and Susan Glasser write in The Divider, Trump in the White House, this, quote, among those who secretly bought a copy of the psychiatrist's book was none other than John Kelly, who sought help to understand the president's particular psychoses and consulted it while he was running the White House, which he was known to refer to as, quote, Crazy Town. John Kelly told others that the book was a helpful guide to a president he came to consider a pathological liar whose inflated ego was in fact a sign of a deeply insecure person. We're back with everyone. I have no words, Basil Smikle.
Well, since you gave me permission to put something in my cup, it'll be Jamaican Rand and white rum. No, I absolutely think that this is scary stuff. I mean, there's no question about it. And you know, for all of those times when people said we shouldn't be armchair psychologists, we knew what we were looking at. Voters knew what they were seeing. They were seeing a president like they had never seen before, somebody that seemed unhinged, spiteful, vengeful, certainly not policy-oriented, and someone who, you know, as Miles said earlier, that was intent with between him and some of his acolytes on inflicting cruelty on the American people. And so I'm excited to read the text. But, you know, to Harry's point earlier, it's not just the president. There are people who we are hearing about that are testifying either by choice or by force. But that means that there are so many others that are still within government that we do not know, people who are public facing that may still be sort of carrying out the wishes, intentions, and I don't know, of this man who clearly was and still is unfit for office.
You know, Miles, I want to know from your experiences and what you saw, what John Kelly viewed as a tripwire to secretly purchase a book about a mentally ill president and try to understand him from a psychiatric perspective.
Well, I've definitely got the right cup to be sipping out of for this conversation. I'll tell you this, Nicole, probably the real answer is his first meeting, you know, with Donald Trump. I came in very early with John Kelly, and he didn't come into the administration and I didn't come into the administration because we thought it was going to be a fun ride or anyone was going to end with a better reputation. Kelly was very clear-eyed from the beginning that Donald Trump at best, was untested and unstable. And he came very quickly to the realization that Donald Trump was unfit for office. I mean, I remember as early as June of the president's first year, members of the cabinet were talking about the 25th Amendment. That doesn't necessarily mean they were sitting in a dim basement planning to do it, but that term, 25th Amendment, was coming out of their mouths in Donald Trump's first summer in office. And I'm sure it was whispered in the spring in times that I wasn't present. That gives you an indicator of just after a few months of exposure to the man, how worried his lieutenants were about his mental state. And that's because he couldn't, that's all the things we know. He couldn't focus in meetings. We were told that 10-page memos had to be whittled down to one-page memos. One-page memos had to be whittled down to pictures. Pictures had to be whittled down to cartoons. And you think I'm being facetious here? I'm not being facetious. That's what we had to do. Is, you know, at one point there were things that we went in and we had people mock up CAD drawings, like those computer-generated cartoons of things that we were talking about to help him understand. When you are a John Kelly and you are Secretary of Homeland Security and you see that, your immediate reaction is the White House is in total turmoil. Did John Kelly want to go be White House Chief of Staff? I don't think he did. Hell no. Who would have wanted that job at the time? But in my mind, it was a good man jumping on a grenade thrown by a bad man. And Kelly hoped he could stabilize that White House. And very unfortunately, he found that the only way to do that is the president himself wanting to be more disciplined, and that was never going to happen.
Miles Taylor, Basil Smikle, Director John Brennan, Harry Litman, it's been real. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here today. Shifting gears again for us.